YouTube, it's Zoe and welcome to my 24-hour readathon gratitude edition. Yay! Woo! If you don't know what the heck I'm talking about, I will include my announcement video right up there if you want to watch it. But basically, I have a lot of emotions and I'm very grateful for everybody and everything in my life, especially books. They have been my constant companion ever since I learned how to read. So I'm going to dedicate 24 hours of my life to rereading old favorite books, books that shaped my life. I am planning on doing some good deeds because I'm grateful for the world that I live in, that we live in. We need to protect it. Also, it'll make me feel less guilty for sitting on my butt for 24 hours just reading. That's very selfish. All the proceeds from this video will be going to the World Literacy Foundation. I really love this foundation. It's doing a lot of good. Anyway, it is currently Thursday and my readathon is starting at exactly midnight on Saturday. I decided to be proactive for the first time in my entire life, and today we are going to put together a little TBR or a to be read pile of all the books I plan on reading during the 24-hour readathon. Well, I might not read all of these books because I sat down, I made a list, and it came out to more than 60 books, so I might not read all of these, but I want to have the option. I don't own all of these books because I was a fan of ye olde library growing up, and I still am a fan of the library. So we're gonna go to the library together. Does that sound fun? I hope it does because we're going. Hello. Welcome to my car. We're about to go to the library. I have my Sainsbury's bag from the first time I studied abroad in London. It's so heavy duty and it's my perfect library bag. It can hold all of the books and it has not broken yet. So wait, did I just jinx it by saying that? Dang it. We're going to go to the downtown public library in Orlando, Florida. It is the best library. It's so big. It kind of looks like a fort. It is all concrete, but in a cool way, and I've been going there ever since I was young. Hopefully they'll have all the children's books that I'm looking for. Let's go. So we're back from the library. I do have a lot of books to share with you all. They only had about a third of the books that were on my list, but that's still many books. Way too many books for me to read in 24 hours. I'm going to show you all of the books that I have to choose from, and we're going to go by my life stage. So the books that I liked when I was a child, the picture books, to when I was in high school. Hopefully my reading taste changed a little bit between me being a baby and me being 18, but not too sure about that. I have 3 picture books here. They didn't have most of the picture books that I was looking for, but these are good. We have Corduroy by Dawn Freeman, my ultimate favorite, and then 2 Madeline ones. Wait, I just found this one in our hallway. I was obsessed with fairies, and it started with this, A Treasury of Flower Fairies by Cicely Mary Barker. So now onto the books that I loved in elementary school. I got Junie B. Jones' Is Almost a Flower Girl by Barbara Park. I have Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone by J.K. Rowling. Obviously, I had to include this because I still love Harry Potter, no matter how hard J.K. Rowling tries to get me to dislike Harry Potter. I read this for the first time when I was 6 years old, and it was one of my first chapter books. I have 3 Judy Moody books by Megan McDonald. Judy Moody Declares Independence. We have Judy Moody Girl Detective, but my favorite one was Judy Moody Predicts the Future. Next is Charlotte's Web by E.B. White. Matilda by Roald Dahl. I also really loved the movie. The Beloved Dearly by Doug Cooney. The Bad Beginning, Book 1 in a Series of Unfortunate Events by Lemony Snicket. Beezus and Ramona by Beverly Cleary. The Amazing Days of Abby Hayes. Every Cloud Has a Silver Lining by Anne Mazer. I got 2 Magic Tree House books, the first being Earthquake in the Early Morning by Mary Pope Osborne, but my favorite one was Vacation Under the Volcano. They didn't have that in person, so I got it as an ebook from my library. Frindle by Andrew Clements. Because of Anya by Margaret Peterson Haddix. Once Upon a Marigold by Jean Ferris. The Anybodies by N.E. Buddy. Hoot by Carl Hyacin. I also loved the movie. It has Logan Lerman and Jake Ryan from Hannah Montana, and also Brie Larson as children. Maybird and the Ever After by Jody Lynn Anderson. I was obsessed with this book in 5th grade, but I completely forgot what it was called. Then I remembered that it was a Sunshine State book. If you don't live in Florida, if you didn't grow up in Florida, you probably don't know what that is, but basically it's a Florida book award, and when you're in elementary school, if you read a certain number of the Sunshine State books, you get to go to a pizza party, and I went every single year. I racked up those AR points, and I got my sweet, sweet victory. But a bunch of my favorites were Sunshine State books, probably because I almost exclusively read from the Sunshine State book list so that I could go to the pizza party, because I had that strategy. A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. The Kingdom Keepers Disney After Dark by Ridley Pearson. And my last favorite book from elementary school that I have currently is The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants by Anne Brashares. Now on to my favorite books from middle school, and I think we have to start with, obviously, Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. It shaped my life. This is all I thought about for all of 7th and 8th grade. I had so many shirts. I covered my entire room with so many pictures, even of Jacob Black. I got Jacob Black posters and I put them up on my wall. I was exclusively Team Edward, ride or die, but I still had to give a nod to Jacob Black. Now, because my life in middle school revolved around Twilight, I don't have that many more books from middle school to share with you all, because that's all I read for 2 years of my life. I did read the House of Night series by PC Cast and Kristen Cast, but I couldn't find them anywhere. Oh well. But in 6th grade, before I got into Twilight, I loved the Click series by Lacey Harrison. Then at the end of 8th grade, my love for Twilight was waning a little bit, so I found a new favorite, and that was YA romantic contemporary books. The first one that I ever read was The Truth About Forever by Sarah Dessen. Speaking of books that I read for school that I ended up really enjoying, we have Stargirl by Jerry Spinelli, Animal Farm by George Orwell, which I read in 7th grade geography class, The City of Ember by Jean Duprow, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, and The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. I was going to include Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen because I read that in 10th grade English class, and it started my absolute love and adoration of Jane Austen, but I thought that that was a little bit too ambitious, including Pride and Prejudice in a 24-hour readathon, so I'm not going to do that to myself. Alrighty, now for the books that I loved in high school. High school was the time that I discovered BookTube, and I watched BookTube videos religiously before I started making them myself, and now I still watch a lot of BookTube. BookTube really influenced what I read. The first book that I ever read because of BookTube was Lola and the Boy Next Door by Stephanie Perkins. I tried to read Anna and the French Kiss, but I couldn't find it at my library, so I read this one first. Cricket! Oh yeah, boy! I also read and loved Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell, Divergent by Veronica Roth. I think I read this before I read The Hunger Games, so this is my first dystopian book. But then I read The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, and I loved it. The next book is Cinder by Marissa Meyer, Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. We have Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare, The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky, The Fault in Our Stars by John Green, Pretty Little Liars by Sarah Shepard. I read, I think, 10 of these books, and then I stopped watching the show, and then I stopped reading these books. Oh My Gods by Tara Lynn Childs. And the last book I have here, the last book on this giant TBR, is Angus Thongs and Full Frontal Snogging by Louise Renison. I don't even know how many books I have to choose from during my 24-hour readathon, but again, a girl has options. So what I plan on doing is writing down all of the titles of these books and putting them in this handy dandy mug. I think you've had enough of me planning everything. Now let's skip on forward to Saturday and start our 24-hour readathon. Hey YouTube, it is Friday at 11:46 p.m. So 14 minutes until we start this thing, and I just finished doing an Instagram live. I am so full of adrenaline right now. I am ready for this readathon. I am ready to crush this thing. I have my entire TBR organized here. I have prepared for the readathon, but what I haven't done yet is picked my first book to read. So I have them all here. Our first one, what will it be? Oh my gosh. Okay, so it is, oh my gosh. Well, my prediction proved correct because our first book is Twilight.
Well, good luck with that.
I'm pretty sure that is the longest book on my TBR. Twilight is here to break my heart and destroy my dreams yet again. So like I said yesterday, I was a Twihard back in middle school. I still have an Edward doll somewhere in my closet. But the thing is, I have not reread this book for years. I have seen the movie many times because I actually genuinely do enjoy the movie. It's really fun. It makes me feel happy and cozy. A feel-good movie for the family. I don't remember how the book compares to the movie, so we'll see if I still enjoy it, because 12-year-old me and current 23-year-old me, my likes and dislikes have changed dramatically. Oh goodness, it is 11:53. I have to make some coffee. I have to get ready. I'm about to go on a date with Destiny. His name is Edward. Hello everybody from me and my boo. It is midnight. I'm actually kind of nervous that I will dislike this. I know it is not the best written book of all time, but it meant so much to me when I was in middle school. I really felt like I was Bella Swan. I was so lonely and I felt like she understood me. This was the first thing that me and my new friends at middle school bonded over. And one of my best friends to this day, we bonded over Twilight. We went to see the movie like 4 times in theaters. And we also illegally downloaded it from the internet and watched it at every single sleepover. As long as you acknowledge the fact that it's not perfect, I think it's fine to like things that aren't the best. So here's hoping that I don't hate it. I mean, even if I did, I would never get rid of him. Oh gosh, he fell. He's sacrificing himself before we can begin. It is 498 pages. I'd never given much thought to how I would die. What an iconic first line. Am I right, ladies? This really just starts. This book doesn't have really any lead-in. It's just like, okay, she's in Forks now, page 2. So Edward and I already have opinions. Bella says that physically I'd never fit in anywhere, but she's pale. She's going to a place that has no sun, where everybody is pale, where vampires fit in because they're also pale. I didn't realize, I'm only like 10 pages in, but she really speaks like a teenager. I read this first when I was 12 years old, and I thought that she was so mature. She says in here that she was born middle-aged, and she keeps on getting more middle-aged. She acts like a teenager. She talks like a teenager. That's not a bad thing. I just think it's funny how opinions change with time when you learn more things and you've lived more of a life. That's called wisdom, honey. I will say though that I am really excited to be back in this world. We're meeting them. We're meeting the Cullens and the Hales. Here they are. Hallelujah. The last one was lanky, less bulky, with untidy, bronze-colored hair. He was more boyish than the others, who looked like they could be in college, or even teachers here, rather than students. Hello, my little bronze-haired boy.
A child. No.
Their cover was the fact that they were all foster siblings, and then they all got together, but they had been adopted since they were like 8 years old, living together, thinking of them as siblings, and then they all partnered up.
I'm not even sure that's legal.
I feel like they could have come up with a better cover than that. Alrighty then, what are they gonna do when Renesmee is older? Is she going to be one of the siblings? I'm so confused. I can do this, I lied to myself feebly. No one was going to bite me. This book is the best. I had a crush on every single male character in here. I mean, maybe not like Charlie. Well, actually, maybe Charlie. That mustache. But for some reason, I had a real soft spot for Mike. I don't know why at all, but when he goes like, "How you liking the rain, Bella?" Wow, that really floated my boat. Okay, so it's been like 5 minutes. I'm only on page like 50. Bella is so dang rude. People are just trying to be her friends, but she's better than them. She automatically judges everybody by their looks. When she is scared of being judged by her look, she's like, "Oh no, I'm pale. People will judge me." And then that turns out to be fine. But then she goes around seeing like Eric's skin problems or whatever. They're teenagers. They all have pimples. What's the big deal? I don't know. She's the original "I'm not like other girls" girl. She's much smarter than everybody else because she's read Wuthering Heights before and she knows prophase and anaphase. Whoop-de-doo! At least she's not being rude to people outright. She's being at least civil to their faces and just judging everybody in her mind. And that's how teenagers are. So, you know what? Fine with it. I'll let it pass. What I won't let pass though is this writing. Stephanie Meyer just uses thesaurus throughout a lot of this book. She uses a lot of imagery and a lot of description, and that's what I appreciate about the movies. They really focused on the attention to detail. The movies also had Arpats and K-Stew, so of course I loved the movies. I remember Edward being more charming, but he's just really controlling. And okay, I had my mom read Twilight back when I was in middle school because I was obsessed with it and I wanted everybody I knew to read it along with me. So my mom read it and told me, "Hey, Edward is not the greatest person. Their relationship is not that healthy." I was so mad at my mom. Maybe my mom had a point. You know what's the sexiest line in human history? Page 87, Twilight. "I decided as long as I was going to hell, I might as well do it thoroughly." Whoa, a competitor for sexiest line in human history. Page 92, Twilight, Stephanie Meyer, 2005. "What if I'm not a superhero? What if I'm the bad guy?" Oh, this got me so good. Okay, so it is already 1:15 a.m. I flew through the first couple of pages. I know I'm making fun of it, but I'm really enjoying myself. But the thing is, I don't want to rush through this too quickly. I kind of want to read this on and off throughout the entire day so that I can make this last as long as possible. So I'm going to put this down and we're going to pick out a new book from my Mike Wazowski mug. I hope it's a short one. because I don't want to read 2 long books at the same time. Whatever. I set these rules myself. This is not a requirement for a 24-hour readathon. I could pick whatever I wanted to, but I like to make myself hate myself. That's the way we do it here. Okay, I think that's mixed up enough. Let's pick one from the bottom. This one? What is this one? Ha! We have Fox and Socks by Dr. Seuss. Hello? I forgot to tell you, but I added 3 more books to my TBR. I added Fox and Socks, Esperanza Rising, and Artemis Fowl. This was my favorite Dr. Seuss book as a kid. I completely stink at tongue twisters. One, because my wisdom teeth came in and it gave me a lisp. So, I mean, I have trouble talking as it is, but that doesn't mean we can't try. Fox, socks, box, knocks. Knocks in box, fox in socks. Knocks on fox in socks in box. Socks on knocks and knocks in box. Fox and socks on box on knocks. Chicks with bricks, chicks with blocks. Chicks with bricks and blocks and clocks. Socks on chicks and chicks on fox. Fox on clocks on bricks and blocks. Bricks and blocks on knocks on box. Here's an easy game to play. Here's an easy thing to say. New socks, 2 socks. Who socks? Sue socks. Who sews? Who socks? Sue sews. Sue socks. Here's lots of new blue goo now. New glue, blue goo, gooey gooey, blue goo, new glue, gluey gluey. Gooey goo for chewy chewing, that's what Goo Goose is doing. Do you choose to chew goo too, sir? Oh! When beetles battle beetles in a puddle battle, battle in the beetle battle puddle is a puddle in a bottle. They call this a tweedle beetle bottle puddle battle. Battle muddle. And when a fox is in the bottle where the tweedle beetles battle with their paddles in a puddle on a noodle eating poodle, this is what they call a tweedle beetle noodle poodle bottle battle muddled duddled fuddled wuddled fox and socks, sir. Fox and socks, our game is done, sir. Thank you for a lot of fun, sir. I failed, but I had fun, and that's all that matters. That's the first book done for my 24-hour readathon, and it only took me an hour and 15 minutes. I'm really challenging myself. Let's pick our next book from the TBR mug. Mike Wazowski, What Shall It Be Next? I forgot. Ah! Oh no, they all just fell down. I accidentally put this back into the TBR mug, and I got Twilight again. The world just really wants me to read Twilight today. Ah! The Beloved Dearly by Doug Cooney, which was one of my favorite books in the 3rd grade. The main girl in the book has a pair of red Converse. I have been wearing Converse ever since the 3rd grade because I wanted to be this main character. No one else has read this book. I have asked all of my friends about it and no one has read this. So Ernie decides that his next big money-making venture will be hosting pet funerals. So he hires this boy named Dusty to decorate the caskets for the pets, and then Swimming Pool right here is the tomboy, and she can cry on cue, so she's kind of the ringer at all of the funerals. This has a table of contents, and I can't remember the last time I read a non-children's book that had a table of contents. I miss them. Can we please bring them back? Wow, this really is a book from 2002 because him being grounded means no Game Boy. Oh no! What I like about this book is the fact that the kids act just like adults. Like, they're running an actual business and there's a business plan and they're really hard workers. I admire that. But our main character says, I'm gonna have an ulcer before I learn how to drive. What precocious kids. It is 3:56 a.m. and I just finished Beloved Dearly, and oh my goodness, it's just as good as I remembered, which I'm so happy about. I did not realize though, at the end, it has a little teaser for the sequel. I did not know this was a series. Anyway, it's like 4 a.m. so I think maybe I should head to bed for a couple of hours. I downloaded the Twilight audiobook from my library, so I'm going to listen to that a little bit as I drift to sleep. I don't know if I've ever listened to the audiobook. Why is there guitar music? Ooh, yeah.
Listening Library presents.
The guitar is still going on. Does it all have this soundtrack? Okay, I'm going to head to bed. I will see you in the morning. Oh my gosh, please be quiet. I'll see you in the morning. I mean, in a couple of hours. Hello. Good morning. It is 7 a.m. The day is here. I must awaken, but I do not want to. But it's okay. I'm gonna go read things.
Luckily, Mike had kept his mouth shut, and no one seemed to know about Edward's involvement. She did have a lot of questions about lunch, though.
Good morning. Good morning!
Good morning.
Hello, are you reading anything today?
I'm actually in the middle of 2 different books right now.
Ooh.
One of them is a Harry Dresden Files book called White Knight, and then by Diane Duane called So You Want to Be a Wizard.
Have you read either of those before?
I've read both of them before.
Ah.
Of course, it was published such a long time ago, and there isn't an audiobook version of it, so I have to actually sit and read
Oh no, the horror! But yeah, you're joining me. Yeah! I am currently listening to the Twilight audiobook, and I did not realize how annoying this narrator's voice is.
Did I? I kept my expression blank.
It's just, she sounds so whiny, which I guess fits perfectly with Bella. So good job, narrator. You really did the thing.
Just have to endure it.
We're just hanging out, having our morning coffee. I am on chapter 6, Scary Stories.
Really, it's just like an old scary story.
Really a scary story. We are on our way to get some donuts. I'm here with my father. Say hello.
Hello.
My father. Dad, are you team Jacob or team Edward?
I have never watched the movies. I have never read the books.
Yeah, that's right. I was obsessed with this series and he refused to watch any of the movies because he's rude. Y'all think he's a nice dad. Nah.
How about we say that by not reading them, then I didn't have to choose sides.
Now though, I think I'd be team Jacob if I read these books for the first time now. Actually, I don't think I would like these books if I read them for the first time now, but I would definitely be team Jacob since Edward is kind of gaslighting Bella for a majority of this. Do you remember all of the merch, all of the t-shirts and the posters?
I remember.
My room was absolutely covered with posters so that they could watch over me in my sleep.
That sounds kind of creepy.
I put the Edward one right over my bed because I was living the fantasy. Hello. Ooh, that one's mine because it's pretty. We're back home. I just read the La Push chapter. It's La Push. Also, sometimes I forget this book was written in 2005, and other times I read sentences such as, eventually I made it to my favorite search engine. I shot down a few more pop-ups and then typed in one word, vampire. It's almost 9 a.m. and I just finished the 7th chapter of Twilight. I'm only 150 pages into it. I feel like there's a lot to dissect in this book. And I have many opinions on basically every single sentence. This is also my only audiobook I have for my entire TBR. I have some things I need to do later that require me not to look at a page, so I'm going to save the audiobook for those things later. And that means I need to pick a new book to read. I actually don't know which book I want to read next, so whichever one I get, I hopefully will be fine with, because all of them are my favorites, so I'm fine with anyone that I read, obviously. What is this one? This one is, oh! The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. I don't really remember the plot of this book, but I vividly remember how this book made me feel. I felt like I was reading parts of myself I didn't even know existed. It's all about loneliness and mental illness, getting through things and feeling like an outsider in your own life, basically. Our main character named Charlie, I remember his name because Emma Watson in the movie adaptation, she's doing an American accent. She's trying her darndest.
What's wrong, Charlie?
Charlie meets a new group of friends. They're all seniors and I think he's a freshman. It really helps him to get out of his comfort zone and out of his own mind. It's a coming of age story set in the 90s.
Question. Could the bathrooms here be more disgusting?
So let's get reading. I don't know why I'm tearing up reading this book. I'm not even at a really sad part. It's Christmas in here and he's just giving people presents, but it's so sweet. This book reminds me a lot of Dear Evan Hansen. Our main characters have a lot of anxiety and are really lonely and just want to fit in. And they both make me feel many emotions. Such a pure little being. He's a wallflower. He doesn't really want to get in anybody's way or really take up space. I'm too weak for this right now. It's noon. I am exactly 100 pages into The Perks of Being a Wallflower. I love this book so much. The fact that his writing, Charlie's writing, gets better the more he writes, because it's showing how much he's learning in English class and he stopped using the word incidentally. Now I have to drive my dad to the car dealership because he's getting a new used car and I'm drinking a Red Bull because I hate myself. No, I'm gonna drink some water later. It'll make up for it, right? But I'm awake now.
Instead of seeing me driving with Zoe recording, it's the reverse. Hi, Zoe.
Hi, Dad. It's not your vlog. You get to vlog the rest of the 24 hours. We're listening to Twilight.
Zoe's gonna drop me off and turn around and head right back.
Ditch 'em. Woo! How far are you into your book?
One of them I'm probably about 85% through. Finish it today if I
today?
No, I started it on the plane trip back from
So you
Boston.
cheated during the 24 hours.
I started it yesterday. Yes, I did.
Oh.
And then the other one, I'm on chapter 3, I think, of the So You Want to Be a Wizard.
You can follow him on Goodreads. He's a Goodreads superstar.
Yeah, what does that mean?
That
It means I read
yeah, you read goodly.
goodly.
12:51, I finished dropping my dad off at the car dealership and I listened to a few more pages of Twilight and now I'm back home, back on the trusty couch and I'm going to finish up Perks of Being a Wallflower. The thing is that so many of these favorites were ones that I read years ago and I haven't read since, so I barely remember the plot. I just remember the fact that I liked them. So a lot of these are hitting me by surprise and I'm happy that my tastes have not changed too much. But I mean, Twilight, that's a big one that my taste has changed just a little bit, but it's good to know that I can still trust old me. I've decided to move outside because one, it's in the 70s right now. I need to take full advantage of it, but also being outside wakes you up a little bit more. And I was getting a little sleepy, so I'm going to hopefully finish The Perks of Being a Wallflower. And I also have some mango slices right here. Hello, little one. He's deaf, he cannot hear me. I have a couple of pages of The Perks of Being a Wallflower left, but guess who came to see me? Hey, girlfriend. It's my stray cat. I named her Stracy, a combination of Stacy and because she's a stray cat. If only my dad was not allergic to cats, I would have her inside in a heartbeat, but I feed her, I pet her for like half an hour every single day. You wanna read with me? So I just finished The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky and I tried really hard not to cry, but I failed. It is 3:35 p.m. and we're about to go to the beach, right? Yeah, we're about to go to the beach because I want to walk along the beach and pick up some trash. Hopefully there's not a lot of trash for me to pick up because I hope it's clean. But I think I'm going to listen to the Twilight audiobook while I'm walking on the beach. But I still want to bring along a physical book just in case. Time to pick our next book from the TBR mug. Let's see what it was. That 2? Okay, this one. Oh my gosh. Well, again, you cannot read these. Wow, I should have planned this better. It is A Treasury of Flower Fairies. This one right here, the picture book with the poems about fairies and the different illustrations of all of the fairies. Yay! Let's go to the beach.
Nicki Minaj.
This is actually pretty darn educational. I really enjoy the illustrations. I had a couple of these on my walls as a kid. He kind of freaked me out a little bit, but that's okay. This one's my favorite of the book. It is the Mountain Ash Fairy. And look down here, a fun fact about Mountain Ash. The Mountain Ash's other name is Rowan, and it used to be called Witchentry and Witchwood too. Whoa! If you ever find a copy of this, I recommend it. It's a fun little educational poetry book. I have already completed the book. Oh. And we're not even, I mean, it's just a poet. We're only like halfway to the beach right now. Exactly. I have more books downloaded from the library on my phone. I have Junie B. Jones. I didn't choose it for my TBR jar, but I feel like we're in dire circumstances right now. I also have Vacation Under the Volcano, which is a Magic Treehouse book. So, which one should I pick? Junie B. Jones or Magic Treehouse?
I like the one that's under the volcano. That sounded intriguing to me.
Yeah, it's about Mount Vesuvius. Ooh! How's your reading going?
Terribly, I'm driving. I find that it's very unsafe to read and drive at the same time.
I'm going to read some Magic Treehouse now, like a proper adult lady. So I just finished the book. That took me, what, 2 seconds because it was only 96 pages long. But I learned so much from this children's book. I completely forgot that Pompeii wasn't actually destroyed by lava. It was buried under ash, and it took an entire day to be buried. I love history, and this is why I loved Magic Treehouse back in the day. How's your reading going, Dad? I read 2 books. What have you been doing? Wanna listen to Twilight?
No.
All right.
Since we are still driving to the beach, I have Junie B. Jones. When I was a child 2 years ago.
When you were a young warthog?
When I was a young warthog. I grew up reading Junie B. Jones and Magic Treehouse. What types of books did you read while growing up?
They had, stone tablets. It was still like Dr. Seuss and Berenstain Bears when I was little. And then I didn't read much until I got into about 8th or 9th grade, and then it was science fiction.
He was a hardcore Star Trek fan. You made a uniform. We're at the motherland. Stop laughing at me. I take this very seriously. We are at the beach. Obviously, I finished Junie B. Jones. Did you finish your book?
Not hardly. iPad at the beach. Always a good idea.
Yeah, great idea. Now I'm going to listen to some more Twilight and walk down the beach and pick up some trash, but I don't think I'll be able to do all of that with the camera, so I will see you in a little bit.
I found trash. And it is not just me. Let me show you what is in my bag. A bag tour. We have an entire pail that was destroyed and left there. We have a lot of string, a lot of wrappers and cutlery, and a lot of plastic. I got a lot of Twilight done, and I got some exercise, and I got a free pedicure. Basically, my feet are nice and baby smooth now, so there is no downside.
So that was a pretty quick trip to the beach. I got everything I wanted to get done there. Yeah, it was a couple of hours actually. It just felt really quick, I guess because I didn't go in the water. Now that we have this great lighting, I downloaded Judy Moody, the first one from the library. I'm really tallying these up. I'm really stacking these books. I've read 72 books in a day. Have you?
I'd be lucky to do 72 pages, I think.
I'm sure you've done that so far.
I don't know.
You've listened to Twilight.
Listening to Twilight the same as reading 10 books?
Yes,
Is it
because
torture?
it's high literature and you really need time to process everything that's happening. Yes, stop shaking your head. You know I'm right. I love that all of these children's books have illustrations. Why aren't there more illustrations in just all books? All books should have illustrations to keep things interesting.
I thought you were supposed to be able to envision this in your mind.
That doesn't
Use
mean
your
I
imagination.
don't want a little help every now and then. There are a lot of illustrations in here. I'm really getting my money's worth from this library book. Hello, it is 8 o'clock and I am back home from... Yes, I'm back home from the beach. I finished Judy Moody and I still think it's as fun as it was when I was a kid. She collected so many different things. I also wanted to have a collection of sorts, so I collected movie stubs, Pez dispensers. I want to save the ending of Twilight for the very end of the readathon, but that means that I want to read something in the meantime. Hopefully it'll be something short, but it's not in my hands. Let's pick a new book. Okay. What is this? Oh, Artemis Fowl. Hold on, I need to sneeze. So here's the book right here, Artemis Fowl by
Owen.
Colfer, the first book in an 8-book series, I believe. I haven't read all of the books in the series. I did read the first couple in elementary school and I love this series. My older sister was really into the series, so I wanted to read it as well, so that we would have something to talk about and so that she would think I was cool, but no one's ever thought that I'm cool. As is the trend in this video, I don't remember the plot of this book. I know that Artemis Fowl is a 12-year-old criminal mastermind and he kidnaps a fairy trying to restore the honor in his family's name. Also, he wants money. There are codes at the bottom of here that you can decipher because there's a little key back here. You know, I think I can finish both of these in 4 hours. That's what I'm gonna keep on telling myself. But before we start, I think I am going to make some more coffee. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a little tired right now. Then I'm going to hop in the bath because I have not taken a bath during this entire readathon, which is rare for me. That's where I get my best reading done. Also, I need to wash off all the sand that is still clinging to my legs.
And the sun, guardian, guardian of the sun.
It is 11 p.m. I just finished Artemis Fowl by Owen Colfer. This was so much fun. I loved the world. I'm a sucker for magical worlds that are isolated from our own world. So like Harry Potter, Shadowhunters, Percy Jackson. I like to feel like this fantasy world could be real. We just don't know about it. And that's what this has as well. The entire fairy world, and it is so technology based. Their wings are kind of like jetpacks. They use fancy guns and they all live underground because that's the last place that the humans have not infiltrated yet. I am very impressed by this. It didn't talk down to the reader at all and it's enjoyable for all ages. Gilderoy Lockhart is directing the movie, so you know I'm gonna see it. This was my second favorite read of the day. The first one was obviously The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and Twilight is a lot of fun to reread. It's past 11 p.m. There is less than an hour left in my 24-hour readathon, I didn't really plan out my reading that well today, but I'm not going to bed until I finish this bad boy right here. So this might turn into a 26-hour readathon. I'm okay with it because we got the baseball scene coming up. I think it's time for a late night dance party set to the tune of our national anthem, Supermassive Black Hole by Muse. Who did it better? You decide. Now I have to go and read. I might do a face mask. Bella is such a weird combination of being very demure and being a damsel in distress, and also hating being a damsel in distress, doing really stupid things because she doesn't want to be a damsel in distress. So, okay, she thinks she's tough, but then she's dumb. I don't know whether to root for her or, I think Stephanie Meyer wanted Bella and Edward to have equal power in the relationship, with the whole Bella's blood is so inviting and it's just as intoxicating as Edward being a vampire. Her fight or flight response is just not working. It's like she has a death wish, obviously. New moon, here we go. Let's get jumping off of cliffs, everybody. Edward tells her that he's been watching her sleep for weeks, months, I don't know. And she's like, oh, I should think that that's not a good thing, but I'm secretly flattered. What have you heard, Edward? Oh, you've heard me say your name in my sleep? That's so romantic, not creepy at all. Excusez-moi? Also, if somebody told you that they could read everybody's mind except yours, do you instantly believe them? Because he could just be making up what everybody else is thinking. I could totally be on board with their romance if it was a little bit more give and take. If Bella was, you know, not on board with him being a vampire at first, but then she was, I don't know. I want there to be some fight back on her end. Bella kind of reflects the writing in here. There's a lot of $2 words in here, such as here on the back. About 3 things I was absolutely positive. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him, and I didn't know how dominant that part might be, that thirsted for my blood. And third, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. Irrevocably? Heck yeah. I thought that was the most beautiful word of all time, and I never heard it before. I included it in so many of my essays in 7th and 8th grade. That and the word plethora. It's a pretty simple story with some fancy words thrown in, and that's Bella. She has some quirks. She reads classic literature, and she knows how to cook. She can take care of herself in the form of sustenance. She can't take care of herself in the form of not falling down all the time and jumping off of cliffs and so on. Again, I am complaining a lot about this book because finally I'm old enough to see the flaws in it. But that doesn't mean that I completely hate this book. This book did so much for me. I have to go wash off my face mask and then finally finish this book. And he leaned down to press his cold lips once more to my throat. And that's the end of Twilight. Oh my gosh. I had a time reading that. Some part of me, and I don't know how dominant that part of me might be, kind of wants to reread New Moon. But also, another part of me thinks, no, New Moon doesn't have Edward in it that much, but it does have Jacob, who I am liking way more this time around. Actually, each time I reread New Moon back in the day, I would completely skip some of Jacob's chapters because I just wanted to get closer to Edward. I feel like this quote on page 478 really illustrates my feelings towards Twilight. That's the beautiful thing about being human, he told me. Things change. All in all, I thought that this was a pretty successful 24-hour readathon or 25-and-a-half-hour readathon. I slept a little bit, I drank water, I also ate fruits and vegetables, and I went to the beach. I did things for me, and I did some things for other people. I probably should have done more for other people. I enjoyed all of the books that I read. How many did I read? 9 technically, but Fox and Socks was one of them. So here are all of the books that I read during my readathon, and here are the total number of pages. It's late, and I'm tired. Are you tired? He's had a really long day. He's had to put up with me complaining about him for 24 hours. Very tired. He doesn't sleep. Yeah, get out of here. I currently feel like how Bella looked after she was bitten by James at the end of Twilight. So I'm gonna go. Please let me know if you enjoyed this style of readathon, me rereading old favorite books. That was a lot of fun for me. Let me know what books you would like me to read during a 24-hour readathon. Also, so many of you joined me during this readathon by Zoe, and I'm so grateful. I hosted some Twitter sprints throughout the day, and so many people were tweeting me with pictures of them reading and updates of their reading throughout the day. It really touched my heart that a lot of people were joining. So let me know down below. Also, if you joined the readathon, how much did you read? What was your favorite book you read? Just tell me everything. But I've had a long day. You've probably had enough of my face for one day. So I will talk to you all soon in my next video. Bye! I've decided to put Edward up here so that he can watch me sleep. Just like old times, right buddy? Yeah, high five.